Now, Alero, you remember one time we talked about when you get these funny emails that tell you...
From the bank.
Yeah, from the bank. Or you get these text messages that tell you you've been invited for an interview that you did not apply for.
Yes.
And then, okay. And
the
then
same way they send you, you have won the lottery. Meanwhile, you didn't buy a ticket.
Okay. Oh, recently, this one was in the course of the week. Someone happened to be along Fadei area. There was an incident there early in the morning. And so he or she sent out a message and said, there's an incident happening around here. Okay, so somebody else sent another message that said, it's not true. I'm at that place now, nothing is happening. And then they go back and forth between themselves.
Well, you know the way Lagos is. Maybe at the time that that person was passing, something was happening.
Okay,
then
so
by 10 minutes later...
They had passed on. Okay, so somebody else called the police to say, hey, did an incident like this happen at Fadei? And the police said, yes, it happened at about 7:40, 7:30, 7:40. It happened. Meanwhile, this other person was there at about 8
o'clock. So it had finished happening.
Now, so all of this points to one phrase that's out there in public space: fake news.
Fake news.
So fake news. The social media is considered a very viable tool to
vibrant
to help keep the society in check, but it's also a tool that can be used to tear the society apart.
Indeed.
So how can we best make use of the social media, from the financial side to the news side to security side, all of that put together? How best can we use the social media? So we called it social media and news. So whether it's financial news, security news, or news. Okay. So to help us look at all of this, we have Dr. Yele Okeremi, who's the CEO of Precise Financial Systems Limited. Thank you for joining us.
That's a pleasure.
John Obidi is an online business consultant and founder of Smart B Camp.
Thanks for having me.
Also here is Chris Wando, president of Professional Bloggers, Guild of Professional Bloggers of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us.
It's good to be here this morning.
Okay. So, where do I start? Let me start with you, Dr. Yele. The fake news syndrome is out there. The scenario I painted actually happened about the news early in the morning and then sometime later and all of that. So how do we know it's true? Another issue, in the course of the week, certain voicemails were sent, messages were sent out about incidents along a certain road in Nigeria. Now, I spoke to somebody else, and he said, are there pictures? Are there videos? The pictures attached to those voice notes were considered stale pictures that had been seen before. So how do we take the news, real news, or how do we differentiate the real news from the fake?
Well, I think it's an interesting question because, you see, when we were talking about it, you said social media. And I think this is not about social media. It's about who we are. So, but if you take a look at yourselves, who are trained journalists, there are certain ethics, there are certain codes, there are certain learning. So we are all creations of our education, our experience, and our environment. So while the environment may be common to everybody, a journalist has certain special education that a software consultant doesn't have. A journalist also has certain experiences that people like me may never have. But all of a sudden, all of us have become media moguls, if you could use that language, because social media has sort of democratized media, as it were. You could actually virtually run a television station from your bedroom today, and you are transmitting 24/7, and the whole world is taking a look at it. But then there are certain things that you haven't been taught. And so there's a possibility that if you haven't been taught these things, you can do certain things that are not necessarily correct. But even if you look at it as a journalist, how do you verify your news? So the code of ethics of journalists assumes that before you go on air, you actually would have triangulated, if I can use the word, because sometimes you may not have concrete evidence. When you have concrete evidence, then you can actually say, for sure, this is knowledge. But when you don't have concrete evidence, you can triangulate around it and affirm whether it is true or false. But what happens today is that everybody is a journalist. whether somebody who's knowledgeable, whether somebody who's not knowledgeable, whether somebody, and I do not intend to insult people, but whether somebody who's sensible, whether somebody who's not even sensible has become a journalist of sort. And so people can say things, and these things can go viral. It depends on how many people you know, or how many people are connected to your own network. And so these things can happen. But the truth, in my opinion, is that it's not about social media. It's only that social media has allowed certain things to happen in larger scales. But how do we verify news? You as
that
a TV
is at
station,
the crux of the question. Is at the crux of this discussion this morning.
So you as
how
a TV
do we
station,
verify what we receive?
Absolutely. So, but the thing is, you as a TV station, because you've set up yourselves in that business, you have a network. And when I say network, I'm not talking about infrastructure. I'm talking about network of human beings.
Human beings to confirm.
You can call exactly.
Yeah.
And that works for you. I probably don't have that kind of network. My network works for me. So if the news comes to you, you can easily verify. But for some people who don't know, and I think a lot of people have itchy fingers, and we are aspirational people as well in Nigeria. We want to trend. We want people to just follow us. And that's why I think sometimes people say things on social media that they shouldn't have said ordinarily. And so for discerning minds, you should take a number of things that come to you on social media and try to verify from mainstream media before you do anything. Okay. That's my opinion.
John, this question has always boggled my mind because most of the time these things are posted. No credits are given for the origin of the story. Yes. So what motivates someone to post something that they know is fake? They don't get any credit. They don't become famous because they have posted it.
No, they get followership.
Why would they do it?
That's a very valid question. We have to understand that, first of all, he said people would like to trend, and that's very true. But more...
So I'm trending. Yeah.
That's one side of it.
Does it bring in money?
Yes,
do I go to the bank with it?
Yes, it does. People are being incentivized because we have monetization programs, especially for bloggers, like Google AdSense. Google pays bloggers for ad revenue, right? So the more traffic you have, the more money you make. Facebook also has a similar program. It's called the Facebook Audience Network. So the more traffic you have, the more money you make. So they are being incentivized to go viral. Absolutely. So if they put news that is fake and is sensational, or maybe not entirely fake, but 1% truth, 99% lies or hype, people go there and they get paid. So they are being incentivized to do these things. That's just the way it is. Right? So
no, just a moment.
Yes.
All these people you say are paying them. Will they pay them if they find that what they have posted is fake?
Well, these are very large corporations. They have no means of really monitoring. Facebook is global. Google is global. All they know is that you're getting traffic, people are clicking on your banner ads, they're getting value, you're getting value, and it moves on. I mean, Facebook just recently started taking steps to punish people publishing fake news. But that, just very recently, but that's after a lot has been done. But the only way they are punishing them is if, people post the fake news on Facebook. Facebook has tools to verify or to let the community vote which is fake and which is not. But then we have other platforms like Twitter. We even have WhatsApp. I think that's where a lot of the fake news comes on. Yeah. The voice memos you talk about, they're being publicized on WhatsApp and all that. So I think that the solution should come from educating the end user. Personally, I see any kinds of news. I have ways of verifying, at least on the surface level. There's a way you can copy a block of text, paste it into Google to see if any reputable news houses have reported that. Okay. If not, hold your opinion until a reputable organization posts that. These images we talk about, there's a way you can save an image, go to images.google.com, upload any image you're not sure about, and to show you whether that image has been used before. So we see people claim that they have been
images.google.com.
That's Google image search, images.google.com. So you hear of these accidents that people say have happened or incidents, and they post pictures as evidence. You can upload these pictures to Google image search to show you if they were from 5 years ago, in fact, or 4 years ago. So I think it has to come down to educating the end user, because these people who are publishing the news, they are being incentivized. Leaving it up to their conscience, I don't think they would naturally just do that. And legislation, well, I don't think that's a solution either. But if you can educate people, this is how you can point out fake news. These are the dangers of fake news. Verify before you share.